Membership programs, when not used correctly, will hurt major gift programs. Now, that may sound harsh, but in today's podcast, Richard and I discuss what happens when nonprofits rely on membership type programs and use it as a crutch in lieu of building a relationship with the donor. Instead, we believe finding out the passions and interests of your donor and matching that up to one of your amazing projects that is changing the world will lead to much greater success.
Welcome to the Nothing But Major Gifts podcast from Veritas Group, featuring Richard Perry and Jeff Schreifels. Twice a month, we bring you the latest and best thinking about major gift fundraising, so you can develop authentic relationships with your major donors. Here are your hosts, Richard and Jeff.
Hey, welcome to the podcast today. I'm Jeff Schreifels, and I have Richard Perry with me today, and we're going to discuss what the effect of membership programs have on major gifts. And Richard, you wrote a blog post on this recently and got kind of called out for it from someone that spends quite a bit of time developing membership programs.
Yeah, I really did. And the reason this person was a bit upset was I was arguing in my blog that in general, membership giving programs, and I would add to that, the annual approach, pledge programs, any of those things that develop a contract with the donor, that these kinds of programs suppress major gift programs, which in our experience, it really does. And it's the data. This is not just like subjective opinion. This is actually proven by the data that we've done.
Right. But I think what this person was saying in their rebuttal to your blog was that you're basically saying all these types of programs are bad for fundraising. And I don't think he caught that you're really talking about major gifts, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So let me be a little clear here. And broadly speaking, giving clubs and membership programs are not necessarily bad. I mean, I don't think they're bad.
Yeah.
But what happens is that the nonprofit doesn't use them effectively. So there's no denying that a membership program will strengthen the connection between the donor and the organization, if it's used correctly.
Right.
But here's the problem. Unfortunately, because we see this in the data of donor assessments we conduct, they get stuck at a certain giving level, either because we've trained the donor that way, because that's the contract,
Right.
This is what the agreement is. Or we never ask the donor to do more because we've conditioned ourselves and to just be okay with that membership gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you end up with is a bunch of loyal donors who are well underperforming.
Yeah.
And they're giving all their larger gifts to someone else and never deepening their relationship with the organization, with a major gift.
Yeah. Now you mentioned data. So in the organizations who have membership programs or those giving clubs or giving tiers, you can see donors year after year after year giving the same amounts. And those same donors, when the client looks at the giving data and matches them up to the names of their donors, begin to realize that those donors are giving hundreds of thousands, and we've seen this in some cases, millions of dollars to other organizations because they've just accepted that this yearly gift is all they're going to ask for.
Exactly.
I mean, even if they even ask for it. So
right.
I remember, Richard, when we were working with this major arts organization in New York City, and they had this whole dynamic going on. They had a membership to the organization, and they had like a major gift membership, which for them was $6,500. So if you did the $6,500, you get tickets and all of these things, perks, right? And so they had hundreds of major donors in their file who were giving $6,500 every year. And that's all they were doing. If you look at the data, when we did the assessment, it was, like 4 years straight, consistent, loyal giving at $6,500 because they got their membership. And so what was interesting is when we got in there and we looked at this, we said, okay, why aren't you asking anything more? Well, when you looked at how they were set up, the folks who were actually in, had the portfolios, the major gift officers were saying, well, we were evaluated on what percentage of our portfolio am I going to get memberships to renew? That was it. That was the big thing. So of course, that's internally, that's what they were doing. And then the donor was just conditioned to always just give that 6,500 because no one ever asked them for more. So we changed. We're like, all right, yes, we want to get your membership gift, but we want to go beyond this. So folks, we're going to start building relationships with these donors. We're going to find out what the donors' passions and interests are. We're going to match that up with the great programs and projects you have at this organization that they're interested in. And this is what happened, of course. Those donors that were giving 6,500, and they were doing this for years and years, like decades.
Yep.
They started giving $50,000, $100,000 gifts, $250,000, $500,000 gifts. Why? Because they were finally asked, and they were asked to do things that they cared about, the donors. And so it changed everything. It changed their complete idea of how they need to look at these donors.
And it changed their economy.
Oh,
right.
My gosh, tremendously.
Substantially. Yep. I mean, we see this same thing going on with, in every single sector of philanthropy, every single sector, the same dynamic. I mean, we saw this going on in the pilot program we conducted with public media stations around the country.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at public media, they have one of the very best sustainer membership programs in philanthropy.
Yeah.
They know how to create a pledge drive and getting you to renew each year. Loyalty is unbelievable. You remember the data that we looked at. I mean, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Historically, they have a very poor major gift program. Why? Because they're stuck in this sustainer pledge membership model, and the data just shows all of that. Great donor retention, great donor loyalty, low value attrition. Why? Because they give every year the same amount. But just like in your story, Jeff, these donors are underperforming at an alarming rate because they just rely on that annual membership gift. I mean, so that's the problem. That's why we're saying this whole idea suppresses it.
Exactly. There really wasn't anyone trying to get to know the donor's interests and passions so that they could match up with a compelling offer at a major gift level. But after the pilot program's success, they certainly are now.
I know. Yeah.
And it's starting to change public media because of the success we've had in that pilot program. And they're using the mid-level program to start establishing those relationships with donors and helping the donor realize they need more than that annual membership thing. And there are a number of high dollar offers that the donor can make an impact with. Yep. So that's what's really cool is they're using mid-level to basically retrain or untrain that donor to think, oh, you mean you need more than just that membership gift? Oh, and there are other things I could give to? Wow. So when they get to major gifts now, they're completely out of that mindset that all public media needs is just my annual membership gift.
You're right on there, Jeff. It's exactly right. So now I just want to be clear about one thing here. We here at Veritas are not knocking membership programs or giving clubs or pledge programs or the annual. Well, we sort of are knocking the annual fund, but anyway, but if it's not used properly, these programs will absolutely, definitely suppress giving.
Yeah.
Major gifts, all kinds of giving.
Yeah.
And remember, giving is about building relationships, and major gifts, especially about building relationships with the donor, not just obtaining, that annual gift or that membership gift or that pledge gift or whatever. So if your organization relies on these types of membership programs, we really do urge you to evaluate the data to see if you have donors who are stuck in those programs. And if they are, then you need to ask, well, why are they?
Yeah.
Are you incentivizing your fundraisers to just get the membership gift, or, are you using membership programs as a crutch in lieu of actually talking to your donors and uncovering their passions and interests and the drivers behind those passions and interests and building a relationship with them. I mean, these are really critical things. Have you actually done the hard work of quantifying what you actually do?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's what we actually do in the charity. This is what you ought to be saying to yourself. We have these types of activities, categories, subcategories, and they have actual costs attached to them.
Yes.
And they have certain characteristics about them, which we call offers, which a donor is interested in.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of kind of putting that all together and giving the donor a picture of how they can really help beyond that membership gift, that annual gift, that pledge gift, et cetera.
Yeah. And going back to that, that why question about the donor, why they're stuck in those programs, I bet you'll be surprised by the answer. Because you'll look back and you go, oh, we haven't asked them beyond anything besides that one gift. So don't let memberships get in the way of developing a relationship with a donor that allows you to know what the donor's passion and interests are so that you can inspire them to give and create change in the world, right? So, and here's one little final thing I'd like to say about this point. All we're basically saying is change the conversation, change the contract with the donor. So it goes something like this. Hey, donor, I'm asking you to become a member at this amount and for these benefits, or to pledge this amount for this arrangement or whatever. So you say that. Yeah.
But then you add, but this is only the beginning, because I'm going to be talking to you about all the other things that can be done in this area of your interest, which means you've actually set the expectation with the donor that, in fact, your gift, this annual gift, this pledge gift, this membership gift, whatever that thing is only the beginning of your economic involvement, where we together do a lot of good that you're interested in doing. That's the nuance. That's the difference.
Yes. Wow. Good stuff, Richard. Hey, before you go, I just want to make you aware of this donor file assessment that we've been talking about. We can do this for you for free. And all you have to do is go to veritasgroup.com, and on our homepage, right there, there's a big button that you can click to find out more on how we can do this for you. I guarantee you that if you go through this donor assessment, you will be absolutely amazed at how your donors have been behaving. And if you have a membership program, you'll see exactly what we're talking about here.
Yep, exactly.
And wow, we need to do something. So
I know. And there's only an upside to the whole thing.
Exactly. So go to veritasgroup.com and you'll find that button and click on it, and you'll find everything you need. We'll reach out to you and we'll tell you exactly what we need to be able to do that free donor assessment. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Nothing But Major Gifts podcast from Veritas Group. Richard and Jeff also write an ongoing blog that you can subscribe to for free at veritasgroup.com. Please join us again next time.